So I was on YouTube, right? And we found this video. We need to talk about Vitor, the Barcelona beast. That's the name of the video, by the way. I'm not saying we need to talk. I'm saying that's the name of the video. We need to talk about Vitor, the Barcelona striker, the Brasileiro, the man that got there in January. And I want to react to this video with you guys because I want to see what the homeboy is. What's he talking about? This caught my attention. Like, what do you mean? Do you mean he's good? Do you mean he's bad? Do you mean they should sell him? What you got my attention, bro? So let me know. If you guys want to watch this video, link will be in the description down below so you can watch it by yourself. But let's go ahead, man. Let's react to this, man. Let's see what homie's saying about Vitor, man. Let's run it.
Vitor Roque. 3 months ago, Barcelona made his signing official for around 45 million euros. Since then, he has only started one match for the squad and has played a total of 250 minutes, scoring 2 goals and creating a bit of chaos each time he comes in, but you don't pay 45 million euros for chaos when you're as broke as Barcelona is.
Let me stop this for 1 second. Before you go any further, I just want to say, I think you do pay 45 million. I think you do pay 45 million. Now, the reason I say I think you do pay 45 million is that he's the future behind Lewandowski. And we all know that Lewandowski's at the end. So, yeah, you could easily go to a 2-striker set, but if you look at modern football right now, there's not many teams doing 2 strikers. It's just not a formation that's really working right now. So I think this does make sense. I know it's a lot of money, but I think it's a future play. Should he have more than 1 game? For sure. But you got Lewandowski in front of you. So I don't like the play of them paying this much and him not playing a lot right now because I think he's for the future. Let's go, though. Let me stop talking.
So what the hell is going on here? Well, a lot of it has to do with the timing of his signing. Going into January, Barcelona were in desperate need of a good finisher. Lewandowski was out of form and the squad was really struggling despite creating the most chances in all of Europe. Ferran Torres was doing okay, but then he went off injured and the squad was again left searching for goals. Now, if Roque had joined the squad then, it could have been an entirely different story. Xavi and the team would have been much more desperate for goals, and so Roque probably would have gotten more game time, and then maybe he would have warmed up quicker. But it just so happens the moment Roque came in, Lewandowski finally began picking up his form for the first time basically since the World Cup.
That's usually what happens.
That he happened to pick up his form the moment I made a video criticizing him. But in all honesty, Lewandowski is doing very well.
He saw your video, bro.
Right now.
He saw your video.
And that's a problem for Roque. Not only is the Polish striker finishing well now, but he's actually linking up okay with his teammates. He isn't fantastic on the ball by any means, but he is definitely drawing more fouls now, and he's keeping the ball better for sure. That's great for Barcelona, but the fact is that's just not good for Vitor Roque, and I think a lot of fans are reacting to that very poorly. A lot of them expected him to jump into the squad and save the team and immediately have an impact because at the time when he joined the team seemed to need it. But now they don't, and Roque is left on the bench. It also doesn't help that right before Tigrinho came, Marc Guiu started coming into his own as well. Guiu is grabbing some of the minutes that would have gone to Roque, but he does deserve it. I think Guiu has been a little bit better than Roque so far, but he is much more accustomed to how the team plays, having spent more time in training with the squad than Roque has, so of course he is. To be fair, Guiu has also gotten the better opportunities than Roque has, in my opinion. Guiu is coming in pretty much only replacing Lewandowski, while Roque is left floundering in that left-wing pseudo-striker position that might not necessarily suit him the best. Actually, a lot of people right now are quick to criticize Xavi for playing him as that left-winger. But honestly, I don't really think it's that much different than Barca's striker in his setup. The left winger, when it's an actual attacker, in Xavi's setup plays very centrally and rotates a lot with Lewandowski. And so
you see what you want, Felix.
Playing a similar position than he would if he were playing striker, even though his responsibilities are slightly different. So I'm really not that upset at Xavi for what he's doing with Roque. But let's take a little bit of a closer look to what Roque is actually doing in the minutes he has on the pitch. Roque is a very energetic striker profile, somewhat similar to, I guess you could say, young Luis Suarez in many ways. However, he's not linking up well at all. When he gets on the ball, he seems relatively vulnerable to pressure, and that tends to break up our attack in ways similar to the criticisms of Lewandowski earlier this season. But Roque has proven to be pretty elite at making things happen and creating chaos, as I've said 100 times, with his runs. He may not always be the beneficiary of that chaos, like we saw at the end of the match against Atletico, but good things often come from what he creates and the
I want to stop this video for 1 second because there is a thing that a lot of us do, including myself, and not to the homie that's making this video because this video is so well put together. But the big thing is, he said Suarez's name, right? Like where Suarez is, they're very energetic, they similar type of players. The difference is Suarez hit the level of Barcelona and at Liverpool at a different age. This kid's 19 years old. He's not supposed to be at Barcelona yet. Like, I know we're used to seeing young Messi come in and Yamal doing well, but that's rare. And Barca does it well throwing in a young 19-year-old, but a lot of them come through their academy. You don't just go out and buy a 19-year-old and slam him into your starting 11. Now he's a beast, right? That's Pedri did really well young. What I'm trying to say is sometimes players go through Europe. You know what I'm saying? You'll see a player at Ajax or an FC Porto or Benfica, and they'll groom the player and get the player ready for what's to come, right? And then when they get to Barca, when they get to that level of Real Madrid or Barcelona, they're kind of prepared a little bit more. This kid is 19 years young, coming from Brazil, never played in European football, slam, and now meant to compete with Lewandowski for a starting 11 spot. Like, that's very difficult for anyone to do. You're going up against one of the, when you're talking about traditional number nines, like, you know, just traditional stand-up number nines, not the hybrid Ronaldos. Just stand, you got in modern football, you had Haaland is now one of those stand up. You got Lewandowski, you got Harry Kane. Like, there's not many. So now this guy is supposed to come in and compare with a top 5 guy or one of the top 5 strikers that was in our game. So it's for me, I think it's very difficult. It's a difficult situation for the young kid.
Runs that he makes on the pitch. However, Roque has what I like to call the Rafinha syndrome. That is, when he gets on the ball, he looks threatening and moves with pace into dangerous spots, but tends to make the wrong decision or fails to beat players one-on-one, and then loses the young ball.
Decision making.
The difference is that Roque is 8 years younger than Rafinha
There
and
it
playing
is.
in a different league. So
There
I
it
have
is.
confidence in him that he can change that eventually.
We on the same page, my
Rafinha
man.
might not. However, he's facing a bit of an unforeseen problem when he was probably originally planning on coming to Barcelona. The fact that there are 6 players on Barcelona's books right now that play the exact same position as he does. Now, Ansu is out on loan, but that still leaves the team with Robert Lewandowski, Vitor Roque, Marc Guiu, Joao Felix, and Ferran Torres. In my opinion, none of them are the perfect striker for Barcelona right now, but that's just too many men to have that play a similar position. Felix and Torres have been playing the slightly inverted left winger role, but that's where Roque has been getting his minutes this season. So when Ferran Torres comes back, what's going to happen for Roque? I expect Ferran Torres to take over Joao Felix's starting spot because he hasn't been wonderful in every match, though he did play well against Atleti. But so where's Roque going to be getting those minutes? Because Felix is going to be subbed in for Ferran now, no? It's going to be just harder for him to get even more minutes. And at striker, it's not a much easier story. Lewandowski never got benched even when he was in poor form. So now that he's actually playing well and the side is only playing in 2 competitions, I don't see a lot of time.
One competition now.
This season. This has, maybe rightly so, brought up a lot of questions about where this leaves Roque this season. And that's led a lot of people to questioning if he should even be at Barcelona or if he should leave this summer. He came with a lot of expectations and he is clearly not living up to them yet. There's also been rumors about Barca trying to pick up Haaland in the next few years, and with Laporta so concerned about the image and reputation of the side, I wouldn't be surprised if he leverages all of Catalonia and somehow figures it out. But with all of that, where does this leave Roque? People, Barcelona fans specifically, tend to be very dramatic and reactionary. I'm the same way. Look at my YouTube channel. But I understand it when it comes to Roque because Barcelona spent 45 million euros on it. Barcelona does not have money to waste on a player, especially not an investment like that when you don't even let him play. So Laporta's going to put his foot down at some point and make sure the kid gets playing time. It's just a question of when that actually happens. The side doesn't desperately need him right now, so of course he isn't going to be the #1 choice for Xavi, especially when Lewa is in such great form. I'm certain he has a future at Barcelona, and it might be crazy, but I think all of this confusion and disappointment, I guess you could say, is actually good for him. It is not good.
I think it should have been a bought and then loaned. Does that make sense? I think it should have been like, hey, we're buying him, but he could stay in Brazil till the end of the year type of move. Because you have João Felix on loan, who's probably going to end up, I mean, unless they come up with the money, leaving. So all of a sudden, when João Felix is off your books, and now it's just Lewandowski, who's getting up there in age, you got Torres, and you got him competing for that 9. That's not bad. Like when you have like 3, that's not bad. You also have the other young kid, but that's not bad. You're not in a bad spot there, you know? And honestly, I think they should let Felix go, because if you're not going to play Felix where he should play, which everyone seems to think that he's a winger, he's not. João Felix is a center forward. He's meant to play behind. His best years at Benfica, being a Benfica fan, was when he played behind Jonas. He was behind him, and he scored a ton of goals. He's good at playing like a Kaká. And I'm not saying like as good of a midfielder, no, but I'm just saying you put him in that role, supporting the striker, watch the way he dribbles, watch the way he finds passes. That's where he's his best. So if you're not going to keep him for the center forward position, you need to move him, because that's just not where he's played the best. And then when it comes to Vitor, if you can't find a way to use him, you're gonna have to loan him. But do I think they're gonna lose $45 million on this kid? No. I think that's money they could eventually get back. If they ended up moving away from him, but he's still too young, bro. I think the kid's gonna develop into a stud, man.
For young players to have to deal with having a ton of pressure on their shoulders. As I said, Lamine Yamal doesn't have that luxury, but Roque, with the squad performing the way it is and the amount of players in that role, well, he doesn't have to deal with that. Just remember how long it took Vini and Rodrigo to warm up at Real Madrid. Benzema didn't even want to play with Vini because he was playing so poorly. He just wasn't meeting the standards of the team because he was still young, and it was an early transition for him.
Yeah.
Roque, by being given time to not be needed, he has that time to develop before he has to deal with things like that. Now, this might push his development a little bit further down the line, but for a kid to not get his starting spot in a top-tier team until he's 20, even that's still early. The kid's only
very
19
early
now, and he's
very
got
early.
time to
I agree
develop.
with you.
Let
I agree.
The kid develop.
I agree.
Knowing all of that, here are my predictions about what's going to happen that is going to affect Roque this year. I think Barcelona is going to sell Ansu Fati this summer, and I think the squad is going to either sell Lewandowski or loan out Mark Gue. Only one of those two will probably be the case, because I don't think Barcelona will be able to afford another forward. I think Ferran Torres could also be on the chopping block, because I think he's earned a little bit of value this year, but Barcelona still has a little bit of money to pay to City, so it's not like a big transfer fee, or any transfer fee would be very profitable for them. So I'm not as bullish on that happening as I am Lewandowski or Gue going out, and almost certainly Ansu leaving. My opinions aside, I'm almost certain he's leaving, so that will open up a spot for Roque. Prediction 2. Roque is not going to play much football at all this year. Unless something catastrophic happens with Lewandowski, I just don't see it happening. Lewandowski's gotten more form right now, but even when he wasn't playing well, he was starting all the matches. And we saw Xavi get a little bit better at actually subbing him off and giving Gue some time, but I don't think it's going to happen. Lewandowski's pretty healthy most of the time.
You got it right, because the season's almost over now when I'm watching this. He got it right.
Getting very many minutes this season, and that's okay. As I said before, let him develop. Let him figure out how to play with Barcelona. Prediction 3, I think we are going to see a much different Roque next season. Yes, that's a quick turnaround for some player to put it all together, but I think that will be enough time for Roque to figure it all out.
Preseason, I agree.
As I've said before, he is an agent of chaos. He creates a ton of mess and excitement, which is, first of all, great for the team late in matches, which is why he's a pretty good super sub.
One more thing I want to say, because I think Homeboy is putting together a phenomenal video here. I think he will have a massive turnaround, because even when you look at what Xavi had to do this offseason, I know a lot of y'all are going to be like, that's not an excuse, but he got João Cancelo and João Felix. Like, didn't he get him on like deadline day? One of them was on deadline day. When you don't have enough time to really organize a season and put a season together properly and really like have time with the players to adjust them to your system, it's difficult. He gets this young kid, Vitor, in this wintertime, and you just got to make him fit your system. Your system wasn't meant for this player yet. Your system was meant to be around Lewandowski. Him and Lewandowski are two different players. So the whole system needs to kind of be changed, and you need to change it around who's going to be your starter. How are you going to get Vitor into the team? Where does Vitor go into the team, and build around that? Because you get pieces even when, that's why you don't see crazy winter transfer signings, because a lot of teams are built a certain way, and then you can't just take a piece and insert it into it and think it's going to work perfectly. That's not how football works. So you got to build chemistry with your teammates. There's a lot more to it. So I agree with him. I agree with everything he's saying here. Now, one thing I must say is I'm watching this video a little bit closer to the back end of the season. Where I'm at right now with Xavi and Barcelona, because they're not in the Champions League no more, and because there's not that many games left, and if you feel like you really can't catch Real Madrid, I think it's time to start playing Vitor a little bit more than Lewandowski, because you want to see what you have going into the next season. You want to make sure that you got something to build on going into the next season. So with Lewandowski being a little bit up there in age, you got this young Vitor. You're not really competing for the league no more. You got to make sure that you're in second and still trying to, still do what you're doing. But if you think that Real Madrid actually got this locked up, I think it's time to start giving Vitor a little bit extra playing time. But here we go, man. Let's keep going.
But I think it will take a little bit of time for that chaos to build some chemistry with the side. Roque is still young and he still has time, and he will feature for FC Barcelona. Just not right now, and that's okay. It's perfectly normal. Also, for everyone annoyed at me, I know it's pronounced Roque. It's just so distracting because no one in the English-speaking world pronounces it that way that I think it actually distracts people from the video, so I don't say it like that. But you've heard my prediction about what's going to happen with the guy. What do you think is going to happen? Let me know down below.
Hey, make sure to go check out this homie's video. It'll be in the description. It's a great video. Well put together, bro. If you see this, man, incredible video. And I agree with every point you've hit. Every point. It's not smart to waste $45 million and give somebody one game. There's a lot to it, right? It's just that he's competing against Lewandowski. I definitely think that he's going to be a big part of Barcelona. I don't think Barcelona fans should freak out yet. I think he's going to be phenomenal. And I think that again, being 19 years old at Barcelona is not easy. It's a little bit different when you come from their schooling and when you've lived there already. But I know y'all gonna laugh at me, man. When you're 19 years old, man, you go from Brazil to Spain. The food's different. You're away from your family. You're away from your friends. You're away from your language. You're away from the things you drink, the places you go. You're away from a lot. And I mean, look, I in the States, I went from one state to another, from D.C. to Texas. And even when you do that, when the hour changes and you're trying to adjust, it's a whole different lifestyle in a way. And that's not even far apart. Imagine going to a different country where everything, you got to give the homeboy time, man. 19 years young, trying to adapt to a new league, adapt to a new country, adapt to new behaviors. It's a whole new world for this kid. I think he's going to be fine. I think him not having to go in and have that pressure on him right away is actually a blessing. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope the best for Vitor going forward. I hope he's an absolute stud. Thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed, smash that thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, the video we react to will be in the description down below. Thanks for watching. Love you guys. Catch you next time. Bye.